What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video up on Paul Pierce. He signed the deal to go to the Clippers for 3 years, $10 million. And you seen how crazy he was in the NBA playoffs and in the whole regular season, knocking down game winners in the playoffs, killing Toronto. All they hope they was grasping onto the W's, and Paul Pierce just destroyed their hope with dagger threes, dagger jump shots. And Paul Pierce was just cold blooded. This is exactly what the Clippers need. That veteran leadership, that guy to get everybody in the huddle going. Hey, we playing terrible. Hey, we need to make a big shot. Hey, you need me to. He creates his own shot at still in his advanced age. This is the perfect piece for the Clippers, and they got him at a good deal because after what he did and the Wizards, I would have gave Paul Pierce $7 million plus because how clutch and good he was in that playoff series. I would have gave him $7 million a year, and for them to get him for $10 million for 3 years after how huge he was in the playoffs, he taking a pay cut to go to LA. Then you add Lance Stevenson with Chris Paul and Doc Rivers as the motivators, the coaches, and the people to be stern on him when he making mistakes and making mental errors. They got a coach and a players that can be hard on Lance to mold him into the right player to be consistent, to not take dumb shots, to not take over dribble. They got the right players and coach to get the best out of Lance Stevenson. Then you add the dagger and the clutch, the truth. Then you put Chris Paul there, who's always been one of the best players in the league, top five player year in and year out, super efficient, take care of the ball, clutch, and just dominates. He dominates in the playoffs. It's just that his team don't show up. He dominated this year in the playoffs and he was injured. Then you add Blake Griffin, who's a superstar top 10 player in the league. Then we just got to see what they're going to do with DeAndre Jordan. They can offer him the most years and they can offer him the most money. And they offer him a role that he excelled at, becoming an all NBA third team player. And he said he wants to be better than that. So I think Doc Rivers can eventually get DeAndre Jordan to come back to LA. He playing at LA, he getting the most money, and they're gonna put him a better role in the offense. So that way he can succeed and he even become an even better player instead of a limited player. So with that being said, I like this pickup for the Clippers, and I think they chances, like I said, they was one game away for being in the NBA Finals, Western Conference Finals, one game away, but they lost three in a row. But that's how good this team is. They didn't have no depth, they didn't have no bench, and they still was one game away from the Western Conference Finals with a big three. You add in Lance, you add in Paul, you add in, they're going to keep adding to the bench with some cheap players. This team looks pretty good on paper, and they got Doc Rivers to make it all happen, adjust the minutes, and put the players in positions where they succeed. And I even mentioned JJ Redick, who's a knockdown three-point shooter and keeps the defense moving and off balance. This Clipper team looking scary. And then they add a consistent three-point shooter at the small forward position in Paul Pierce. But not only is he a good three-point shooter, he's just not a spot-up three. He can create his own shot from the mid-range. Matt Barnes, all he was asked to do was shoot a spot-up three. Paul Pierce can do that and more, and still is a capable defender at his position at his age. So that's a huge upgrade over Matt Barnes, is Paul Pierce. Then you add in Lance Stevenson, who you got rid of basically Spencer Hawes. You got rid of Spencer Hawes for Lance Stevenson, and they even like Spencer Hawes anyway. He wasn't a part of the future. He didn't even play in the playoffs, really. So they pretty much gave up on him. They weren't even using him anyway. Then you add in Lance Stevenson, who all he needed was the right teammates because it was too clogged in Charlotte. You couldn't move because you had Al Jefferson, Marvin Williams, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist clogging up the paint, clogging up the floor spacing. Lance Stevenson couldn't get to the paint. He couldn't get them driving lanes. He couldn't create off the dribble because there was nowhere to pass to because nobody on the team can shoot. You add him to a team where he got JJ Redick, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, who all can shoot. He can create, cut through the paint, get off the dribble, kick it out to the shooters, and he can still be Lance because he got teammates that's talented instead of teammates that don't fit his play style. And then you got Doc Rivers and Chris Paul motivating them and coaching them up so that way he can develop. And on top of that, he got a team option. If Lance Stepenson don't work out this year, they can just let him walk for that $9 million. And then they can spend that on somebody else. So the deals that they made right now is looking very good for a team that was one game away for being in the NBA Western Conference Finals with no role players, no bench. Now they upgraded the small forward. They got a playmaker on the bench and a person that can score and create. I like the Clippers right now if they can get DeAndre back. Because if they can't get DeAndre back, then they're going to have to find a replacement for him. So I like the Clippers, and they do need a backup center. They need to get rid of Glenn Davis and them. They should have went after Brandon Wright, but they ended up going after Paul Pierce. So if they do get DeAndre Jordan, they need to make a little will and deal to get a backup center because they played DeAndre Jordan too much, too many minutes. Eventually going to get injured because he's on the court too long. So they do need to find a backup center that can back up DeAndre to give him some minutes on that bench. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis signing out. And feel free to comment. If you don't like something or you want to say something, send it in a comment. I respond to every comment. Let me know what you guys think.